Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Round the Clock Cricket with me, Rahul, Sudip, Ayan, and Kunal. We will have a very short 10 minutes discussion on the first test match at Perth Optus, the drop-down pitch, where in England takes on Australia on the 21st, that is 2 days from now. So the England team has been declared. The big discussion point is Josh Hazlewood is out along with Pat Cummins. So that's a huge blow for England, Australia, and in a very high stakes series where the last two Ashes have been a draw. So if Australia retains this, draws this, I think they will retain this. I start off with Sudip. Josh Hazlewood and Mitchell Stark not starting in the starting 11. I think has not happened in the last 5 years. I think, if I'm not wrong, together. What and with Atkinson, Cast, Archer, Wood already declared in that side of 12, it will be either Will Jacks or Shoaib Bashir. What's your initial take on the two sides basically at Optus?
Now, this Cummins and Hazelwood. Now, this is going to create
Yeah.
tremendous workload on Mitchell Stark. And at 36, he's not getting younger. So I think this is a big blow to the Australian side. I know it is disturbs the combination. Because these two are match winners, Hazelwood and Cummins. So I think the balance may slightly tilt in favor of England in the first test. It depends on how well they bat. But I think it will give a Joe Root, to a, a good opportunity to score big in this century, Joe Root and other batsmen. So this gives slight advantage, very little, but slight advantage to. I mean, it will be 55-45 in favor of England in the first test.
So you think that the team is going to? I mean, England has a fair chance.
England has a good chance, now that Hazelwood and Cummins are not playing, because still, of course, Scott Boland has a very good record at home. Is a phenomenal
Correct.
record.
At
I think
Perth,
it's
right?
12 point something. I think his bowling average
Yeah,
at
his
home
average is
ground in
around
home
less than
ground.
13. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
so he'll be more than a handful. And of course, then there's the new guy, Brendan Doggett. I think he's not tested, in Test cricket, so he's a newcomer. So he'll be under tremendous pressure, bowling in
Yeah,
Ashes.
I think England starts off with a significant advantage with Hazlewood and Cummins not there. So we'll
Yeah.
come back to you, Sudip, in a very short. Ayan, very shortly, two main bowlers not there for Australia. England going out almost a strong team, except Bethel was anyways going to be dropped out. Do you think England has a best chance of winning going, and given the fact that Usman Khwaja and we don't know who's going to play, either it's going to be Weatherhead or it's going to be Manas Labuschagne drafted in and Dew Webster playing, which I have been saying all this long. I don't think, I mean, Weatherhead might play finally. Do you think this is a very, very good chance for England to go up 1-0?
Absolutely. I think this is the best chance that they can have because we always knew that it was going to be the English batting versus the Australian bowling. And now the Australian bowling is severely depleted. So obviously England has their best chance. England, on the other hand, have their almost full strength bowling side. Archer is probably fit, and then that really makes a difference. Archer can be quite a handful on the. Of course, this Waka, I mean, the Waka wicket is no longer what it used to be, but these drop down pitches are pretty notorious. So day, night,
Hey.
and all, and you have that, the time when you switch from day to night, that is always a very testing time for batsmen. And Australia is, I think, that opening problem we absolutely know that. I will still, I was of the opinion that Labuschagne will not open because he's their best bat. So putting him right at the top, I would think that they would still experiment with this pressure. Bowling wise, Boland again, as Sudeep said, he has a phenomenal record in Australia, but whether that will still, test. I mean, but rarely has he had to bear all the responsibility of the bowling himself because you have the other guy. Doggett is a complete fresher. He seems to be a carpenter by apprentice or something. So
Yeah,
whether
he's a
he's as
carpenter.
good a bowler, that we don't know, that time will tell. Whether he can actually make furniture out of batsmen. So that has to be seen. But I think this is again, Waka is a track where Lion will be pretty ineffective most likely. So it's going to be a pretty tough tough ask for
And
Australia.
Iron, the fortress was bridged here. The fortress was bridged by
But they have
India.
a bad
So
record. I mean, India has a fabulous record in Perth now, right?
fabulous
India keep
airports, right?
keep on winning at Perth. So I would say Australia is in for it. If and but I would also like to mention here that if Australia by chance win here, then it's going to
They
be a
can steamroll.
complete
They can
whitewash. If they
whitewash. Yes,
defeat
I think I was going.
England with this team, then it's history for England. It's going to be very, very tough. So England better make use of Australia's weakness.
One thing which I would like to ask you, I'm tempted, just comparing the coaching style. Even with so much of problem, we don't see the T20 influence of Gautam Gambhir in Australian team.
No, no.
They stick
Never.
to a very different type of mentality when they play
Absolutely.
test match.
Absolutely. I mean, India, I don't really know. I mean, see, we certainly should have better people than Gambhir leading the team. I mean, come on, we've had
Correct.
such a stellar flow of coaches. I mean, that's people, I mean, cricketers. And why should you have Gambhir? I mean, did not ever have a stellar career. Okay, he was coach of, I mean, KKR and all, he did do a good job. But then there is a
Gambhir
different
supporters will come
thing.
and beat you. They will say that he scored a 97 in World Cup final and a Champions
No, no,
Trophy
that is
90.
okay.
So
But where does he pales in comparison to say a Kumble or a Lakshman or anybody of Saurav's team? I think all of them have a better record than Gambhir. So I mean, and he was not tested in the test. I mean, his only stint as coach has been for
he
KKR
was an
in that
IPL. It was an IPL.
T20.
I've always been saying he's an IPL
Yes,
guy. He's basically a
IPL
white
guy,
ball coach.
white ball coach. So that and he's not showing that required, the transition that you
So
require
which Kunal
to
said.
go.
I mean,
Yes,
as a player, I mean, as a coach to evolve, that evolution is not there.
which is very
He's not
surprising.
learning
I
from
mean,
his.
I find it surprising because as a test batsman, I always thought that Gambhir actually played better than his actual capability because
Yes, capability. Correct. I also
he
thought the
actually
same.
played better because
He was severely, I would say, hindered by ability, but
technically he
his
was not
temperament was pretty good.
exactly. He was a player of attrition. I mean, he showed a lot of fighting spirit, lot of
Fighting spirit. He was like Ravi Shastri to an extent.
Yes,
Low on
yes,
ability,
yes,
high on
yes, yes.
temperament. Yeah,
Yes, I
almost a
mean
Ravi Shastri.
he could just take balls on his body, right? I mean he could be
Body.
battered red and
So coming back
black
to
and blue.
Australia, Arun, do you think, as I was asking Sudip, two key bowlers with 300 plus wickets not there, do you think it could be a huge
That's
problem
what
for
I'm saying. So
Australia
this is England's best chance to win. If they do not take
to
this
win?
chance, this series is gone for England. This is what I can say. This is England's best chance. Without a doubt. Absolutely without a doubt. So if they
Okay,
do not
I'll
make
come
most
back
of
to you,
it,
Arun, in very
they're
short.
going to be in trouble.
Kunal, looking on the England side, because you have been watching England, do you think Jack Jacob Bethel will get a good chance in this series ahead of Ollie Pope? We've been a lot of discussion. That is the one discussion point in the middle order for England. Bethel got a chance in the last test, didn't do well. Ollie Pope was vice captain. Harry Brook has now been made vice captain. Could be the signal that Ollie Pope might be shunted out as a. I mean, when you see this type of decisions, you know that, as a leader, you also know. You are moving someone out of vice captaincy, but he's a regular player in the team. Do you think Jacob Bethel is the future for England's batting? And whatever
Yeah,
little you saw it over.
that's it. Jacob Bethel is the future for English cricket. That's what the English people, English selectors, a lot of ex-English players are also saying. They are rating Jacob Bethel higher than Ollie Pope. His batting prodigy and the kind of scores he's got under his belt, so and kind of style he bats. So definitely, he's a good talent. I only can say he's a good talent until he proves his mettle. There's a lot of player like Graham Hick who's been termed as next Bradman, next Bradman.
Correct. Very true.
So,
Very
but
true. Very true.
he scored around 26,000 first class run, but he
Absolute
could not succeed
26,000.
in the Test cricket. So I do not always go by the English media. They make everyone is a Botham and every batter is the next big thing in the world. But watch and see because Bethel is a good talent. We have seen him scoring good runs. I'm sure he will add a lot of value to this weak Aussie against. He will add a lot of value to this English batting against his looking a weak Aussie's bowling attack, but it is not. But Scott Boland, as Sudeep was mentioning, Scott Boland and he's got a good record at home, and he is a
And
very
start.
very and he's a very nagging customer. He puts the ball in the same place for 12, 13
Yes, he
overs
bowls
and
on the
very
same length.
difficult.
His length is very on same. He
Yeah,
bowls
and
on the
he doesn't
same
have a
length.
big swing. He got a small swing, so that's very dangerous. Batsman had to play. Batsman have to play the shots, has to edge it. So and then the Brendan Doggett, which is a newcomer, has got a lot of raw pace. So who becomes stars, you do not know in what conditions. People gives the opportunity and people take it for the both hand. Hazelwood Cummins is
Absolutely.
not there. They also understand it's a great moment for their career. If they can make it or break it, simple. I'll keep it
Very
in this
true.
way.
Very true.
This simple. Thank you.
Yeah. So, final question to all of three of you. Bazball failed very badly. Brendan McCullum, Ben Stokes' theory didn't work because Subman Gill gave it back. So, do you think, and this has been discussed majorly, do you think Bazball will really hurt Australia? Your take first.
When England or Australia, baseball, but you're saying
Bazball
England.
will Bazball hurt Australia? Because people are saying that Bazball has not done well against India. It may not do well against Australia. In the grounds which are bigger grounds, we have bigger grounds, especially Sydney and Melbourne are huge
I,
grounds. Even
I
Adelaide is not a bad ground.
I think even in this,
Your take on
recent,
my
I
question to
think they
all
are
three of you is same.
curbing
Is
their.
Bazball going to hate Australia?
Yeah, no. See, it depends on the pitch. The pitch is not going to be very suitable for baseball type of cricket, especially in Australia. And even in this India-England series, you will notice compared to the previous series, England have somehow, curbed their, this attacking instinct slightly, not very much, but they have curbed their instinct. So I think the tendency will be to slightly play on a safer note, in this. You won't see too much of baseball. This is my
Good
feeling,
point by
on
you
English, on
that the
Australia
pitches
conditions.
England were making were docile, and these pitches will not be docile. So Bazball may
This
not
not be
counter, may
so
not be
they
counterproductive.
will curb their, attacking instinct to some extent. I feel, you won't get a 6 runs per over type of over, in
So you mean to
this
say
series.
neither the pitch will help Bazball, nor will Jacket Crawley play Bazball. That is what you were saying.
Yeah, and Crawley,
Mm.
Crawley's place is not also very
Mm.
secure because he hasn't been very successful in the recent past. And if he fails, and there
Okay.
might be, England might be
Okay.
tempted to open with Ollie Pope and and bring in Bethel in the side.
Yeah.
Okay, so you're saying that Olipop might open. Okay, okay.
Yeah, money if
That's a
Jack
good point.
Crawley
On
doesn't fare well, that
Oyon,
is
your
also one
take on
option.
wow, the final take on whether Bazball is going to be affected, and if affected, whether it's going to implement it well.
So I see. I have always thought baseball to be an ultimate act of stupidity because it is something which I mean. What I don't like about it is the inherent inflexibility. It is like whatever the situation, you have just one solution. There's nothing else. I don't think this is a good strategy, but my views have been greatly, sort of changed a bit. It's not greatly changed, but definitely, I had a new sort of look into this problem from what Roland Butcher said in our show. You remember? So he actually said that baseball is something that England have had to adapt because they are bad defensively because the batsmen cannot defend. So the only way they know to play is this. So in that case, there is nothing to argue, right? I mean, Jacob Bethel Jacob Bethel got out to an atrocious shot at the Oval. Harry Brook gave away the match to India. Absolutely atrocious. Atrocious shots. Right? Bethel, especially, he had just come in. He charged down the track. I think he was bored or something, right? It's ridiculous. But the thing was, this is how he. I don't understand why he would play a shot like that when he had a very, small number of runs to chase. But probably it was a fifth day pitch and the ball was bouncing around a bit, and this is how he cannot defend. So this is how he plays. If that is the thing, then there is no other way that England can play. So of course there are big pitches. Sorry, the big grounds are much bigger. So therefore, if you hit the ball in the air, chances of your getting caught at the boundary line is much higher than the ball disappearing into the stands. So of course all that is there, but at the same time, because the defensive ability of the players is poor, so the only way they can play is baseball. So that is what Roland had said. said, and that is the thing that England will play like this. So I mean, Brooke is a very, very sort of a precocious talent, but he will. I don't know why he played such a poor shot against India that cost them the match. So that I do not agree was he was just he could have played normally, right? He didn't need to hit all the balls out of the park.
So you are
So that
almost
mentality
resonating,
was
Sudeep. You are saying that Bazball may not be implemented at all. At all.
no, but I also feel that England, if they are in a tight situation where they, for example, they have to defend the whole day and they have a target of 500 runs, they cannot play defensively. So they will still, play their shots and perish because that is the only way they know to play. That's how what Butcher had said, and that I think if that is the case, then basketball is the only option.
Only
So
way because they are defensively poor.
they
Yes,
cannot play
true.
defensively well, right? So only
So
I hope that
we'll have to see
yeah.
how
So
they
I mean,
survive.
just one thing I would like to say is that I hope mentally they don't give away a strong situation by playing foolish shots. That is what I hope.
Which Bethel and Brook did against India at Oval. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Thanks,
So
Ayan.
that
Thank
they
you so
just
much.
gave the match away.
Final comments from Kunal before we wind up. Do you think Bazball, and you are also not a great supporter of Bazball, Kunal. So do you think Bazball is going to be affected by Australia, by England, or the grounds are not good enough? As both of them are saying, the grounds are big enough. It will not be very easy to implement Bazball, and they don't have that bowlers also.
See, grounds are big, outfields are slow.
Yeah.
The outfields are not very fast, like in, you know, and the kind of
No, the
cricket
dropping pitches, the outfield will be fast. The dropping pitch outfield might be fast at par.
might be, but it's a bigger ground, so it'll take a lot of time. And grass is very thicker, so it's not thin grass. With a thicker grass, very difficult to ball to travel to the fence. So in a buzz ball situation, in drop-in pitches, there are a lot of bounce available. English players are very good in the front foot players because they've covered a lot of swing through that. They're not
They
very
have mainly
very
front
good
foot.
puller or hooker. They're not a very good back foot player except one or two. So I'm sure there'll be a good contest. England will try to prove like Gautam Gambhir, Brandon McCullum also now established a buzz ball, so he cannot take his foot out of it. He's not putting his foot into the paddle. He cannot take it out until somebody is pushing it to. So he will wait for it. He will definitely go for it in the first two tests. Maybe next three tests he might change the stance, but it's very difficult, Rahul. Once you establish a name in the arena and you bring in particular style, people are talking about it.
Style of
If you
playing.
if
Very
you
true.
change it, then it's give you a lot of different dimensions. Your coaching ability will be under scanner.
Question.
Number one. Number two,
Correct.
if you remember, there's a football formation called diamond system, diamond formation, which Amal Datta
Mm.
brought in.
Yeah.
It failed. He
Mm.
lost to East Bengal to 4-1. That system vanished.
Mm. Correct. It overnight
So,
vanished. Yeah.
so I remember it as I was kid when I saw this particular Bachung Bhutia
Mm.
scored a hat trick against Mohan Bagan.
Yes.
Though I'm very
Correct.
hard, I had Mohan Bagan fan, but never played for
We
Mohan
all are.
Bagan.
I think we all followed Mohan Bagan here. We all
No,
followed
no,
Mohan Bagan.
no,
So,
but irony with me is that I have not played for Mohan Bagan. I played for East Bengal. So that's my
oh,
irony.
is it?
So it's very
Okay.
difficult.
So you also saying like Sudeep and Ayan that uh, baseball will not be implemented, but I'll be surprised to see, as
It
Ayan
will be
rightly said,
implemented.
if
It
their
will be
defense is
implemented. It will be implemented. They will go for shots. They will score some runs. They are thinking that without Pat Cummins and Josh Hazlewood, they have a brighter chance to play shots, score runs. They'll go for it. I am sure in the first two tests, there might be see a direction where the baseball is going, whether it is rocking or it's flooring. We'll see to it. Thanks, Rahul. Good night.
Thank you so much, Sudeep, Ayan, and Kunal. So the general discussion from all our experts is that it is going to be a very, very closely fought match in the absence of two big bowlers from Australia. And of course, we have to see how England fares with with Archer, Tongue, Kars, and Wood. I think Wood, Archer, Tongue, and Kars, very strong, and Stokes. So five pace bowlers and one spinner. It's going to be one hell of a fight. We're looking forward to the first test match starts from 21st on Friday
Sure.
at the Optus Stadium in Perth.
So,
On that note, we'd like to say goodbye to our viewers on a very,
thank
very
you.
on a midday week. Thank you so much and good night.